Let's talk about Heto from Brims. Heto from Brims was in a vehicle with another Brim member who happened to be a female, and they caught a flat tire, or the tire blew out, however you want to word it. And they pulled in to the closest gas station, and when they pulled in, they was meet with some problems. About 3 dudes approached them with their cameras out, filming them, and they was disrespectful. They was dissing Brims, and they dissed a few other gangs. Heto response was, "I'm not from Brims, sir," and he proceeded to remain in the vehicle. And the girl with him, she was pretty much on some "we ain't on that" type of stuff, and they proceeded to stay in the vehicle. Then later on, I guess the individuals chose to bring some girls and started trying to fight to have the girl with Heto run some phase or get packed out, whatever the case may be. And it would be brought to my attention that the Heto dude pretty much disappeared from the situation, and the girl was pretty much left to hold the bag. Now, that situation is gonna always be like a 50-50 situation, like a wobbler. It's gonna be people in the room who understand it, and then it's gonna be people who don't understand it. To me, I put that in the same category. When I say that, I'm talking about like if someone asks you where you from, and you either say where you from or you don't, I would almost put that in the same category of like being robbed, right? Like if you a person like that will give up your valuables or your belongings, then you pretty much don't need to make fun of a person who chooses not to say where they from just because they don't want to have something terrible happen to them, or they don't want to end up losing their life. So if you will get ran up on and you will say, "No, I'm gonna keep my belongings, I'm gonna not give up my belongings without a fight," or whatever the case may be, then I can totally understand your outlook on this situation. Plus, I do know that it is certain individuals who will let you know where they from under any circumstance. That's just the truth of the matter. So I really don't respect the whole narrative people putting out there like, "What would you do?" and "people wouldn't do that," and "people ain't that tough," when you got people that has proven that they is that tough. We gonna also run some clips. We gonna run some clips from Treyway, him having to fight at the gas station, but more importantly, we gonna be playing the content on Treyway explaining what took place at that gas station. You know what I mean? Just to highlight the difference of the thought process on how he wanted to go about his situation and then how they went about their situation.
Ooh. What the fuck? They just jumped this nigga right here at the gas station. What the fuck? What the fuck?
They still getting on that nigga.
What the fuck?
They still getting on that
Damn!
nigga. They still getting on that nigga.
Damn! Oh shit!
Oh, that's
They just beat the bitch. What the fuck? Oh!
Hey, I'm gonna ask you this. This is a serious one. I saw that shit that happened like 2 weeks ago at the gas station. What the fuck happened?
Alright, so more of the story, boom. I went up in the store to get some wood today, homies, boom. I go in the store, boom, I turn my back, whatever, boom. Swear to God, get the wood, so I'm ass over. Turn around, I see my ops, boom. So I peer them, I'm right here chilling. I'm looking like, so because I let, more of the story, situation, left in the car. So boom, it's like, what am I gonna do? Boom, and plus we're at the gas station, so it's like nothing I can really do. And I see multiple of them, so boom, I'm sitting there, boom, it's like, what can I do? So I sit there, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait right here till they come in, till one of them come in, but I'm gonna hide, and then I'm gonna dope him when he come in. Oh, that's over. So boom, that's what I did. I sat there, I waited, boom, he started walking in. Boom, I hurry up, called him, boom, start beating his ass, boom, whatever. Boom, I try to walk out, I try to get up out the store, boom, try to get out the store, but they see me fighting this nigga, boom, so they all ran, start packing me out.
I didn't know
More
that.
story. I grooved up out of there, tried to get up out of there, you know.
I didn't know that.
She's no scars, no nothing, man. We made it out alive, man.
We got the girl who was with Heto pretty much speaking out.
Everybody have so much to say about what they would have done if they was in that situation. Y'all do what y'all think would have been best for y'all in that situation. Bitch, I did what was best for me. And if y'all don't understand LA politics, maybe y'all need to shut the fuck up until something happens to you. Because y'all all so high power about what y'all would have did if y'all was in that situation. And I guarantee everybody would have did the same thing I did. And I go for you tough ass niggas too. Sitting there, getting recorded, walking up to your car, nigga, yeah, you would have did the same thing. And if not, you would have been on the shirt the next day, bitch. Straight the fuck up. I don't know, no motherfucking body who would have just, oh yeah, I'm from Brims and I'm from, with a rep they set so hard. So shut up, bitch. Y'all are not tough. And if you are that tough, you're gonna die. Not tough, and if y'all are, y'all gonna die about it. I didn't want to die about that shit. I said what the fuck I said. I meant it. I didn't give a fuck about no camera being in my face, bitch, and I did what the fuck I was supposed to do. Straight the fuck up. Know who the fuck y'all think y'all, I don't know who y'all be feeling like, but bitch, I ain't shook. And I don't want to die about the shit. Straight the bitch, and maybe my nigga didn't want to either. Niggas want to do shit for entertainment purposes. Like, niggas didn't want to hurt nobody for real. Niggas just wanted to get a little bit of embarrassment, a little bit of laugh, and hee hee ha ha. And that's fine. Because everybody has their day. He has their judgment day. And I'm gonna be the bitch with the gun. So, everybody come outside and die about this shit since y'all so motherfucking tough. Premises and nigga thinking that shit over, please. Them was some niggas that didn't give a fuck about us being no bitches. Regardless, though. I'm here. And he's still here. So all that shit can be fun and games. You know, fun when this rabbit got the gun.
You know, she pretty much just saying like she don't really have a problem with what Heto and herself done, but she just has a problem with how people are addressing the matter, like in her words, acting like they are more tougher than what they are. And I just feel like you can't tell everybody else that they're not tough just because you chose not to be tough in a situation. You made your bed, you gotta lay in it. He also made some claims and said some things like, you know, everybody get a judgment day. It ain't gonna be no fun when the rabbit get the gun. One day I'ma be the gun. I'ma have the gun. You know, something similar to that. And to me, I felt like that's a waste of time. That's why I be saying sometimes you have to just take the loss at that time instead of taking the loss later on, because you can't escape what you were trying to escape before, only to have to meet it later. So when she's bringing up gunplay and she's being on the defense, like she's feeling offended because people saying things about her or Heto, it's going to lead to her probably having to hurt someone. The same with Heto. These dudes, not these dudes, but Heto or this girl can no longer be tough in a room around certain individuals. You know, it's going to have to be to a certain level. And when they pass that level and start acting too much, you know, a certain way, people are going to always bring this scenario up and throw it in their face. You know, things are like, you wasn't tough in that situation. Keep that same energy you had for them. Things like that. Which probably is going to lead to Heto or this girl causing harm to somebody. So you're going to get put in the twist either way it go. And then once you start having them internal issues, you probably going to end up getting hurt anyway. You know, them internal problems be a little bit more, you know, it's a little bit more closer to home, so it's a little bit harder to kind of avoid them situations, you know. So why would you not want to just meet everything you have to meet as far as pain and loss and all that stuff with these so-called enemies, and go out with a bang and be respected? And that way you don't gotta turn around tomorrow and start fighting or trying to cause harm to 20 other people just because they calling you out on something you did wrong. Now if you gonna accept it and be like, y'all right, y'all got that, y'all the homies, I shouldn't have did that, I shouldn't have been slipping, then that's one thing. I could get that. You know, you're gonna have to grow from this, learn from this, and laugh it off. But definitely, you know, pay close attention for the next time. I ain't even trying to go down the path on like what's right and what's wrong when it comes to what they did at that gas station. Obviously, they felt like they did what they had to do, what was best for them, and I do get it. But when you make choices under distress, you got to make sure that that aligns up with the conduct you put out there in this universe when you're not under distress. See, I'm not really familiar with this Heto dude or this girl, but during these I guess a week now or a week and a half, this situation being out here, I've been catching more information. And you can't be out here acting like you some loud guy. You can't be acting like, you know what I mean, it's after ops. You can't be doing all that in the public. And then when you meet these individuals that you be disrespecting, you don't have no energy for them. See, I just feel like that's what a lesson in the situation, that's one of the lessons in that situation that people need to pick up from. That we constantly keep getting these people who be loud or everything be the gang this, that, and the third, and then you catch up with them later down the line, they ain't that same person outside of their comfort zone. And I just say that really for the youth. You know, it's probably a dude or a girl, 16, 14, whatever, right now, leaning a certain way. You probably only catching some of these, you know, comfortable, loud situations where everything seems fun. So y'all gotta pay attention to these things too, cause obviously at that moment, Heto and this girl really wish they wasn't from Brims, right? That's just what happened. And I'm gonna say this is the topic because everything is rooted from that situation at the gas station, but that's not really what I'm on here about. I'm really on here more so pertaining to like people's commentary and their opinions, the way they are addressing this matter. Like, you got dudes speaking on this situation with like no level of disrespect. They haven't put out a disrespectful label on the situation yet. And I just can't respect that because, you know, when things fall in the same category, like things that's like a DP offense, like that's eligible for a DP, right? Some people might understand it, but that's still something like people get a DP for, right? So when you be throwing labels on other people situations and how they carry themselves and all these things, I feel like you got to carry that same type of energy. You know, people is like addressing the situation. Some people is trying to like act like it was wrong to a small degree, but I'm not really agreeing or respecting this whole having a heart, this whole now you a human approach with this matter. Now you got people on this, what they was supposed to do, die. Oh, I want to know, what would you have done in that situation? Oh, it's no real rules on you was supposed to say this, that, and the third. You know, like, man, I ain't mad at nobody because they didn't want to lose their life. Like, them type of comments, I just don't respect that coming from individuals who have used words like buster, bitch, just all of these type of disrespectful labels pertaining to other people's situations. Like, you got to pay attention to how people address matters. Like, I just feel like when people don't have no hesitation to throw labels on people, don't have no hesitation later. Because what that dude Heto and the dude from Brims, and the girl from Brims did, fall in the same category. And we talking about from the viewing point of a person who's not doing no picking and choosing and calling a spade a spade. If they gonna keep you to Benji, then we gonna say all of that stuff is aligned. It's all unacceptable. Turning down fades, all that not being where you are supposed to be, and all this stuff, whatever, right? So I just feel like if you could feel like all these things that I mentioned can fall up under some of these type of titles and labels, then how this don't fall up under it? You know, like I said, I get people was addressing it and, you know, trying to dissect it and say smart things about it, but I want the terms, I want them labels, I want them, you know, whole bitch busters, you know, I want that energy. Because most of these people are, and again, I'm not trying to bash nobody or disrespect nobody, I'm just pointing out things. But most of these people that you hear people talking disrespectful about, they be familiar with them more from the internet. People will call Loose Cannon everything under the sun, but they will really say he's not really from 60s. So you got a lot of energy and a lot of toughness for a person who's not even really from where he's claiming to be from. Like, you know, even like the dude from SOMTHING, he's a buster because he got fired on and somebody ended up with his belongings. He's a sucker, he's a buster, he's everything under the sun because if that happened. 03 Greedo, he's a sucker, he's a buster, he's everything under the sun because what happened with him and his homies. But for some reason, with this one situation with these two individuals from Brims, people have developed the heart. When it come to Crib Mac, you don't never hear nobody saying, well, you know, he be wrong at times because he don't have to really be disrespectful or be carrying himself how he do, but I'ma always have a heart for him because I clearly know he's not fully there. Dudes hold back nothing with him. They be talking about he can't fight, he's a J-Cat, just all the things they can say. Throw labels and terms on him. So I just feel like if you gonna have a heart for situations and we gonna talk normal and we gonna want to talk about, okay, let's sympathize with a person trying to save their life, then we need to do that with everybody, because everybody do something that fall in the category of like a buster or a mark. It's all rooted to this, it's from the same root, the same thing those people from Brims did, and that's trying not to put their life in a twist. They don't want a black eye, they don't want a stabbing, they don't want to get packed out, they don't want their teeth missing, they don't want their jaw broke, they don't want to get shot, they don't want to get jumped on, packed on, hit with a weapon, whatever the case may be. When people do things like, hey, I'm not from here, or people don't show up for a fight, or people is turning it down in the county, or people is going PC, or even people choosing to be a snitch, all of those things fall down to the same category of like, nobody wants to put their body and their life and whatever in a twist. If you sympathize with one person who can not necessarily be a stand-up individual to protect their life, then you have to have that same outlook for everyone else following suit. I'm not trying to bash that dude from Brims or that girl. I said what I said. You know, I'm sure they learned the lesson already. It is what it is. I gotta be mindful because think about the things they are on here saying. Like, not them, but the girl, you know, bringing up guns and stuff like that. And it seems like to me that neither one of them wanted to carry a gun that day. You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody want to get put in the twist that day. So, if you didn't want to have a gun, because you probably didn't want to end up in jail or whatever the case may be, you better know that the time that you're going to be facing for using a gun is going to be way more than the time you facing for just having the gun. When you have them type of situation on the road, you know, you got to start calling in immediately like, hey, look, I just had a little issue. Make sure you start pulling up right here. Get here as fast as you can. So whatever that might transpire, you know, you kind of got some assistance on the way. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, you gotta also know some situations you can't get out of either. You know, like dudes get on these public platforms and people want to be like a popular dude in the streets, and then they be thinking, you know, tat their body all up, and then they be thinking they could kind of like get away from things. Nah, man, like to me, once you make these choices and stuff like that, you gotta deal with it. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, I'm saying, as far as like how it's all on the internet now, I assume that for this to be all on the internet, both of them have some type of notoriety to themselves. If they was just some like, you know, regular flies on the wall, then they could kind of get away with doing what they did. They could have got away with it. But you got to see things for what it is and have a vision. The moment you want to get out here and really be popular or popping or have a lot of notoriety and all that stuff, you have to know the rules of engagement have changed for you. You know what I'm saying? Just like if you become a real trophy, it's things that people gonna do to a trophy that they not gonna do to a regular person on the roster. So once you want to sign up and actually really be a trophy, you have to know it's a total different playing field. And that's why a lot of people do come up short and lose in these streets, because they be wanting all the attention. They want to be a viral person. They want to be a popping member. And then they don't understand that I'm no longer regular. So a person will risk their life for their freedom off of a trophy. They might not necessarily risk it off of a fly on the wall. It's a lot of ways you got to view it, you know what I'm saying? But either way it go, hope I was able to give y'all some advice. Y'all know we gotta keep it a Benji. I'ma always keep it real with the game, while others do a little something strange for a little piece of change. I'm out.